Archangel Michael says, "I'm dying to talk to you, spare just 5 minutes, this is my final message, don't ignore it, open today immediately." These words are not meant to frighten or confuse you, but to reach into the deepest part of your heart where longing, love, and light are waiting to be awakened. There are moments in life when heaven leans down so close, you can almost hear it breathing, and this is one of those moments. In this stillness, in this quiet pause of your day, I come to speak not with thunder or flame, but with a voice wrapped in tenderness, woven with the very love that brought Jesus Christ into this world for your sake. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. In the hush of your soul, beyond the noise and sorrow, beyond regrets and fears, God's voice has never stopped calling you home. He watches over you like a loving father whose arms are always open, even when your heart feels far away or too burdened to respond. Through every tear you have ever shed, through every sleepless night and every silent prayer, He was already there, whispering comfort, pouring grace, and holding you when you didn't even know you were being held. Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, walked this earth not to condemn it, but to cradle it in mercy and compassion. Every footstep He took was for the lost, the weary, the broken-hearted, and the hopeless. Every time He stretched out His hand, it was to lift someone who thought they had fallen too far, to forgive someone who thought they had sinned too much, to heal someone who thought they had waited too long. His life was not for the perfect, but for the hurting. And His arms are still open for you now, just as they were on the cross, with love that bleeds eternal. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you believe God is always with you. I have seen the sadness in your heart, the kind that hides behind smiles and quiet routines. I have heard the cry of your spirit when the world quiets down and you feel the weight of everything you carry. You may think you are forgotten, that no one really sees how hard you try to stay strong, how much you hide, how deeply you ache to be at peace. But the Lord sees. He knows. And He does not judge you for the things you're trying to survive. He does not ask you to be fearless. He asks you to be near. This message, soft and sacred, is not about a list of things you need to do to earn His love. It is about remembering that His love has always been yours, even when you did not feel it. Even when you doubted, stumbled, or pulled away, His love followed you. It still follows you now, patiently, gently, like the warmth of morning light creeping through a darkened room. It doesn't demand anything of you but to receive it. That is the miracle. God doesn't require your perfection, only your presence. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer, it is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brain wave today. You may not understand everything happening in your life. You may be walking through pain that has no name or facing uncertainty that leaves you breathless. But I tell you with all the truth of heaven, that nothing is wasted in the hands of God. Not your sorrow. Not your confusion. Not even your silence. He holds all of it, tenderly, and weaves it into something beautiful, not always right away, but always in time. Jesus walked with thorns on his head, a cross on his back, and love in his heart, just to show you that you are worth saving. Type 1414 to step into divine protection. If you feel tired, if your faith feels weak or even absent, don't be ashamed. Faith is not measured by the strength of your certainty but by the quiet return of your heart, again and again, even if it's trembling. God hears the smallest whisper that says, "Help me." He honors the tears you cry in secret. He understands the days when you can barely lift your head. He blesses the moments when you come to him not with eloquent prayers, but with a sigh of surrender. This is not the end of your story, not even close. The enemy will whisper lies that you are alone, that you are unloved, that you are too far gone, but those are just shadows cast by fear. The truth is, you are still here because God still has a purpose for you. You are breathing because His Spirit sustains you. You are reading this now because heaven has never stopped pursuing your heart, not even for a second. Let today be a gentle turning. Let it be the soft start of something holy. Not loud, not dramatic, just real, the kind of real that sits quietly inside your soul and says, "God, I'm here." That is all it takes. One moment of surrender. One moment of returning. And heaven moves. Angels gather. Grace floods in like a healing river. You don't have to fix everything or figure it all out. You only need to open the door, just a little, and Jesus will do the rest. I will keep speaking as long as your heart needs to hear. Let this be a beginning. Let this be the first time in a long time that you truly feel seen, known, and loved. The message is simple, but it is everything. You matter deeply. You are never alone. And you are more loved than you will ever fully understand. My message continues not with urgency, but with a sacred gentleness that wraps around your spirit like a warm blanket on a cold night. I want you to hear this not with your ears alone, but with the quiet place in your heart where longing still whispers and hope still flickers like a candle that refuses to die. You may not always know how deeply you are loved because life has taught you to guard your heart. Maybe the world hasn't always been kind, maybe your own voice has spoken more criticism than comfort, and maybe somewhere along the way you started to believe that you weren't enough, not strong enough, not faithful enough, not worthy enough. But let me say this clearly, so you never forget it again. Your worth was never measured by your perfection, your success, or your strength. Your worth is rooted in something eternal, in the love of God, poured out through Jesus Christ, just for you. Remain until the last moment, because what you are about to hear is no ordinary message. The love of Jesus does not arrive with conditions, it doesn't wait for you to clean yourself up first, and it never leaves when you're at your lowest. His love is fierce in its tenderness, unwavering in its patience, and immeasurable in its depth. When you feel like no one else understands you, He does. When you've said the words, "I don't know what to do anymore," He was already near. And when your soul has groaned quietly in the night, He has heard every sound, collected every tear, and held them close to His heart. There is nothing you have ever done, or ever could do, that would make Jesus stop loving you. This world often teaches that we must earn affection or prove our value, but in the kingdom of God, love is not a prize, it's a promise. A promise sealed in blood, carried through suffering, and risen in glory. Jesus did not die so you would feel unworthy. He died so you would know, beyond all doubt, how precious you are to the Father. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. If you've wandered far, or feel distant from God, know this: there is no path so lost that Jesus cannot walk it with you. There is no heart so heavy that He cannot carry it. There is no soul so dimmed by sorrow that He cannot reignite it with joy. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have the right words. You don't need to pretend to be okay when you're not. You just need to come as you are, and He will meet you there. In your everyday moments, when you're washing dishes, driving in silence, lying awake with racing thoughts, or staring into the ceiling with a tired heart, He is already beside you. You don't need to reach for heaven. Heaven has already reached for you. Every second you spend in the quiet company of God becomes holy ground, whether you feel it or not. Even when your mind wanders and your prayers feel empty, Jesus remains, steady and faithful, never measuring your worth by your ability to be strong. There is such healing waiting for you, and it doesn't always come in dramatic miracles. Sometimes it comes in slow restoration, in the gentle lifting of burdens, in the comfort of stillness, in the gradual softening of wounds that have ached for years. Sometimes it comes when you finally speak the truth you've kept hidden, or when you let yourself be loved without resistance. And sometimes, healing begins with these quiet words: God, help me. That small surrender becomes the opening through which light pours in. What if 7 minutes could rewrite your financial future forever? This hidden frequency, backed by neuroscience, flips the brain's natural wealth switch, unleashing unstoppable prosperity. People are calling it the money magnet sound, and it's already transforming lives. But hesitation means missing out while others move ahead. This is your moment to act. Click the link in the video description and comments below to awaken the wealth inside you today before the chance slips away. If only you could see what I see, how the Father looks at you, how Jesus walks beside you, how the Spirit wraps around you like wind through the trees. You would never doubt again that you are surrounded by love. And yet, I know how easy it is to forget. That's why I'm here, reminding you, gently but firmly, that heaven is not distant. It's near. And you are not lost. You are being found again, moment by moment, in the hands of a Savior who never lets go. You may feel broken. You may feel tired. But you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. And you are never alone. There is grace for your mistakes. There is peace for your confusion. There is mercy for your regrets. And there is endless, endless love for your soul, waiting to be received, not earned. This message is not about fixing your life in 5 minutes. It's about opening your heart to the one who wants to walk through life with you, no matter how long it takes. There is no rush in God's love, only a quiet persistence that never leaves you, even when you are standing still. The journey ahead may still have valleys, but you will never walk them alone again. Let this be your moment of return, not to religion, not to rules, but to relationship. The kind of relationship where you are safe, known, and deeply loved. Jesus Christ is not far away. He is close. Right now, even here. It's soft, steady, and full of love that does not demand anything from you but longs to be heard and felt. The message I carry isn't just words, it's a lifeline. It's a hand reaching for yours in the silence. It's heaven leaning close, speaking directly to the tender place inside you that still hopes for peace. Type 1919 to embrace healing. I know you've been through more than anyone truly knows. Maybe you've carried things for years, quietly, faithfully, but also wearily. Maybe you've smiled when your heart was breaking, kept going when you had nothing left, prayed when your faith felt paper thin. And yet, through it all, God never stopped seeing you. He never stopped loving you. He never took his eyes off of you. You may have felt forgotten in the chaos, but he remembered you in every moment. You may have been overlooked by others, but you were never invisible to him. Jesus did not come for those who have it all together. He came for those with messy lives, aching hearts, and stories filled with chapters they wish they could rewrite. He came to meet people right where they were, not where they pretended to be. He sat with the outcasts, touched the unclean, embraced the broken, and wept with the grieving. And he still does. He hasn't changed. His love hasn't changed. And it never will. This is not about religion or trying to impress God. It's about letting yourself be loved in the exact place you are standing now. You don't need to get everything right. You don't need to feel worthy. You just need to let yourself be known, by the one who already knows everything about you and still chose the cross. He didn't wait for you to be strong before he saved you. He came while you were still hurting, still unsure, still tangled in things you didn't know how to escape. There is no need to hide from him. He sees it all, the good, the broken, the painful, and the beautiful, and he stays. He stays when others leave. He stays when you don't understand. He stays when you doubt, when you fall, when you cry, and when you just can't take another step. His presence is not fragile. His love is not conditional. His grace is not temporary. It is forever, and it is for you. Sometimes, healing doesn't look like a sudden miracle. Sometimes it looks like God gently softening the sharp edges of your pain, day by day. Sometimes it looks like the quiet strength to get through one more hour, one more morning, one more moment. Sometimes it's the way your heart begins to feel again after being numb for so long. And sometimes, healing starts with letting go of the idea that you have to do it all alone. You were never meant to carry everything by yourself. You were not created to walk through this world alone. That is why Jesus came. That is why he still comes. To sit beside you in your sorrow. To stand with you in your fear. To walk with you in the places where no one else can follow. He is the quiet whisper when everything feels loud. He is the calm in the middle of your storm. And even when you cannot feel him, he is still holding you. Right now, as you read this, he is near. Not in judgment, but in compassion. Not in anger, but in understanding. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain. You only need to open the door of your heart, even if just a little, and say, "Lord, I'm tired, but I'm here." And he will come rushing in with all the kindness of heaven, not to demand from you, but to give, rest, peace, forgiveness, and love beyond your wildest dreams. Type 222 if you know God is with you. Your story isn't over. No matter what has happened, no matter how long it's been, no matter how broken it feels, God is still writing it with His own hand. Every scar, every mistake, every chapter you thought ruined everything, He can use it all. Nothing is wasted in His hands. He is not finished with you. He is just getting started. Let this be the day you allow yourself to hope again. Not because everything is perfect, but because God is still with you in the imperfection. Let this be the moment you breathe a little deeper, cry a little freer, and know in your soul that you are not alone. You never were. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to keep everything together or keep carrying the weight in silence. You've been doing your best, even when it felt like no one noticed, but heaven has seen every moment, every tear, and every silent prayer that never made it past your lips. There is something sacred in the quiet places of your soul, where no one else sees, the places where you cry without sound, where you long for peace that doesn't come from anything this world can give, and where your heart aches for something more than just getting through the day. That ache isn't weakness. It's the gentle pull of your spirit remembering where it came from the hands of a God who shaped you in love, who formed your soul with purpose, and who placed eternity deep inside you. Even if your life doesn't look the way you thought it would, even if you've been through more heartbreak than you ever expected, you are not forgotten. You are not drifting. You are not too late. The enemy wants you to believe that your story is a mistake, but God says your story is a masterpiece still in the making. He is not bound by time, by your past, or by your pain. He works through it all, even the parts you wish weren't there. And right now, He is calling you closer, not to fix you, but to hold you. The arms of Jesus are not just open for the joyful and the strong. They are open for the weary, the lost, the disappointed, and the afraid. They are open for the ones who don't know what they believe anymore, for the ones who stopped praying because they thought it didn't matter, and for the ones who smile on the outside but feel like they're barely holding on inside. His arms are open for you, exactly as you are. God never asked you to be perfect. He only asks that you come. He knows how hard it's been. He knows how long you've been trying. He knows the parts of your heart that you've buried because they hurt too much to look at. And still, He draws near with gentleness, never with pressure. He sits beside you without rush, without demand, simply to remind you that you are deeply, endlessly loved. If you've been waiting for a sign that God hasn't given up on you, this is it. This message, these words, this moment, none of it is random. Heaven is whispering to you right now. The same God who breathed life into your lungs is still speaking into your future, still guarding your heart, still moving pieces into place behind the scenes that you cannot yet see. He has not abandoned you. He has not forgotten the promises He made over your life. And He is not finished with the good things He started in you. What if 7 minutes of sound could end years of financial struggle and replace it with freedom, prosperity, and peace? This ancient frequency, once locked away in secret government research, is now changing lives everywhere. Imagine bills erased, doors opening, and sudden windfalls flowing into your hands. But every delay is wealth lost forever. Click the link in the video description and comments below to switch on your money wave and claim abundance today. Sometimes God moves quietly, without grand displays or dramatic moments. Sometimes He works through slow healing, through the kindness of strangers, through unexpected peace, or even through a message like this one, simple, soft, and full of love. You may not feel anything right now. You may be numb or distracted or tired. That's okay. God is not waiting for your emotions. He is waiting for your heart to be open, even just a little. And once it is, He pours in peace like rain on dry ground. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. There is still beauty ahead. There is still joy coming. There are still days waiting for you that are filled with laughter, with purpose, and with quiet moments of peace you didn't think you'd ever feel again. You are not too broken for this. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified. In fact, the very places where you feel weakest may become the places where God's love shines the brightest through your life. Jesus sees your entire story, not just the version others know, but the whole truth, and He calls you beloved. Not because of what you've done or haven't done, but because of who you are to Him. You are His. Chosen, loved, seen, and worth rescuing again and again, as many times as it takes. So let go. Not of your dreams or your worth, but of the belief that you have to do it all alone. Let go of the guilt that keeps you from receiving love. Let go of the fear that says you're not enough. And simply rest in the truth that Jesus is with you, and He isn't leaving. Not now. Not ever. Every time you've sat in silence and wondered if anyone sees you, every time you've smiled to hide the ache in your soul, heaven was watching, not with judgment, but with the tender ache of a father who longs to lift his child back into light. So many people walk through life feeling like shadows, holding pieces of themselves they don't know where to place, waiting for something or someone to make it all feel safe again. And if that's you, I need you to know this truth: you don't have to keep pretending. You don't have to hold it all in. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. There is a place for you in the heart of God where your pain is understood, where your questions are not feared, and where your presence is enough. Jesus came not to demand perfection but to bring peace to people who had forgotten what peace even felt like. He did not look for the ones who had it all together. He walked straight toward the broken, the ashamed, the angry, the exhausted. He still does. He reaches for the heart that feels buried under disappointment. He leans in close to the soul that hasn't felt heard in years. He whispers to the one who feels like giving up. Not with a list of demands, but with arms wide open, full of compassion that never runs dry. If you feel like the pieces of your life are scattered, or that your past is too heavy to move forward, take this moment to let yourself be still. You do not need to fix yourself to be loved. You do not need to be better to be held. God's love is not a reward, it's a refuge. A safe place to fall apart and to be slowly made whole again, not through your efforts, but through His grace. The kind of grace that wraps around you like a quiet, invisible embrace, holding every broken part with sacred care. There is something beautiful happening in you, even if it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes healing feels like emptiness at first, like letting go of old habits, or walking away from things that used to numb the pain but never really helped. Sometimes healing looks like saying, "I don't know what comes next," and trusting that God does. Sometimes it's just the courage to breathe, to rest, to keep going, even when your heart is heavy. Every small step matters. Every moment of honesty with God becomes an invitation for Him to move deeper into your life. Type 1616 if you surrender to God's will. You were created with a purpose that has not been cancelled by your pain. You are still someone God can use, still someone He delights in, still someone He calls by name. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. God's plans for you have always accounted for your detours, your doubts, and your darkest days. He is not pacing heaven, worried that you've gone too far. He is simply calling you home, not to a place, but to His heart. And you don't have to know all the right words. You don't have to know how to start. All you need is a whisper, a breath, a simple turning of your heart toward Him, even in the quiet. Even now, as you read this, something inside you is already moving. That's the Spirit of God, gently awakening hope where it's been asleep, gently stirring love where fear once ruled. Don't resist it. Let it in. Let it soften the parts of you that have gone hard from grief. Let it break through the numbness. Let it reach the places you swore no one would ever understand. Because God understands. Jesus walked this earth with skin like ours, with tears on His cheeks, with sorrow in His soul. He knew pain. He knew betrayal. He knew silence. And still, He chose to love through it all, just so you would know that you are never alone in yours. There is no place too dark for His light. No wound too deep for His touch. No story too messy for His redemption. You are not too much. You are not too broken. You are exactly who He came for. And He is not afraid of your doubts, your scars, or your silence. He simply wants your heart, not your performance, just your heart. Let this be the moment you stop trying to outrun grace. Let it catch you. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that you are deeply wanted by the One who gave everything to bring you home. The world may not always understand, but Jesus does. And He is right here, right now, waiting only for you to open the door just enough to let the light in. But you don't need to make sense of everything right now. You only need to breathe, and let yourself be reminded that you are seen, held, and loved beyond anything you can measure. There is something sacred about the moments when no one else is watching, when you're sitting quietly, when the day fades into night, and you're left alone with your thoughts. Those are the places where God comes closest, not with loud answers, but with a peace that passes through the questions. It's there, in the silence, that His love reaches you most deeply, not asking you to rise up or perform, but gently settling over you like a blanket of mercy that you didn't even know you needed. The truth is simple: you were created for abundance, yet a dormant brain signal has been holding you back. Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it pulls wealth into your life like never before. Others who pressed play once are already transformed, living the life they dreamed of. Do not hesitate or let regret steal this chance. Click the link in the video description and comments below to unlock your prosperity now. Jesus doesn't come into your life only when things are going well. He walks into the storm, into the mess, into the places where you've lost your way and don't know how to ask for help. He doesn't stand at a distance, waiting for you to figure things out. He comes to you, right where you are, with no hesitation. He is not afraid of your sadness. He is not put off by your anger, your doubt, or the heaviness you carry in your chest. He sees it all and moves toward you, not away. You don't need to pretend with him. You don't need to hide. If you're tired, tell him. If you're angry, whisper it. If you're broken, fall into him. God is not fragile. His love is not shallow. His presence is not conditional. He does not come and go based on how you feel or how well you think you're doing. He is faithful, even when you are not sure what you believe anymore. His love will never leave you where it found you. It will carry you, even when your own strength runs dry. Type 2020 to claim joy and strength. Some days, you will feel like you are healing. Other days, you will feel like you're unraveling. But even in those days, you are not going backwards. Healing isn't always a straight path. Sometimes it looks like breaking open before being made whole. Sometimes it feels like being lost before feeling found again. And through all of it, Jesus never lets go of your hand. Even if you let go, even if you pull away, even if you run, he waits. Not with disappointment, but with open arms. There is so much grace for your journey. There is grace for the days you didn't pray. Grace for the times you doubted. Grace for every tear, every silence, every time you questioned if you were strong enough to keep going. God is not counting your mistakes. He is counting the moments your heart turned toward him, even when it was just a whisper in the dark. He doesn't measure your faith by how loud your worship is, but by how deeply you keep coming back, even if it's messy and slow. The world will try to rush you. It will tell you that you're too late, that you should be farther along, that you should have everything figured out by now. But God is never in a hurry with your heart. He is patient. He is kind. He walks with you, not ahead of you, not behind you, but right beside you, step by step, breath by breath. His timing is not your timing, but it is always perfect. And even in the waiting, he is working, shaping, healing, and preparing your heart for more than you can imagine. Let today be a day when you stop chasing perfection. Let it be a day when you choose peace over pressure, rest over rushing, and presence over performance. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are growing. You are healing. You are becoming who God always knew you were. And no matter how long it takes, he will not let go of you. You may not feel strong right now, and that's okay. You don't have to be strong all the time. You just have to be honest. That's where Jesus meets you, not at your strength, but at your surrender. Not at your answers, but at your ache. And when you give him even the smallest part of your heart, he takes it gently and begins the slow, quiet work of restoring what the world tried to steal from you. You were never meant to do this life alone. That's why I'm here, still speaking, still reaching, still reminding you of the love that refuses to walk away. Not because you've earned it. Not because you've done everything right. but because God's love is who He is, steady, unshakable, and always enough. I want you to pause. I want you to breathe. I want you to let yourself be fully present in this one sacred moment where all you need to do is receive what heaven has always been offering: love, comfort, and peace that cannot be broken. This world will give you countless reasons to feel worn out, unseen, or not enough. It will convince you that you have to do more, try harder, be stronger, or hide the places that still hurt. But that is not the voice of God. That is not the voice of Jesus. He does not speak in pressure. He does not shame or rush or demand. He speaks in peace. He speaks in mercy. He speaks in love that stays when everything else fades away. Type 111 if you believe miracles are near. Sometimes it's not about trying to understand why things happened the way they did. Sometimes it's about choosing to believe that even the hard things will be held in the gentle hands of a loving Father. Jesus never promised that we wouldn't have pain, but He did promise that we would never walk through it alone. He did promise to bind up the wounds of the broken-hearted. And even now, He is doing exactly that for you, whether you can feel it yet or not. You may be sitting in the middle of a chapter that feels like confusion, sorrow, or delay. Maybe you're holding on to dreams that feel too far gone, or mourning the things you never got to say. Maybe you're just tired, not because you're weak, but because you've been strong for too long. But hear this: God sees you. Not the version of you that performs for the world, but the real you. The one who's exhausted. The one who's grieving. The one who quietly keeps hoping that maybe, somehow, things can still be beautiful again. They can. They will. Because God is not done writing your story. He is not finished building something beautiful out of your broken places. The cracks in your heart are not flaws, they are openings where the light of heaven can pour in. You don't need to pretend to be okay to be held by the one who already knows everything. And the things that have made you feel small or forgotten do not have the power to define you. Only love does. Only Jesus does. If you feel like you've been walking through life with a heart that's too full of things you can't explain, grief, regret, longing, or loneliness, this is your permission to set those things down. Not to ignore them, but to hand them over to the one who can carry them with you. You don't have to hold everything anymore. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. It's okay to break. It's okay to rest. It's okay to let yourself feel again. You are not fragile in God's eyes. You are beloved. You are not invisible to heaven. You are cherished. And even when you feel lost in your thoughts, when you feel like you're drifting in and out of hope, the Spirit of God is still surrounding you, speaking softly into your soul. I'm here. I've always been here. I'm not leaving. That is the kind of love that changes everything, not a love that waits for you to get it right, but a love that meets you in your deepest need. Every second you wait, wealth meant for you slips into someone else's hands. A hidden brain wave, once buried in CIA files, has been proven to awaken unstoppable prosperity. In just 7 minutes, you can unlock the switch inside your mind that draws abundance like a magnet. This is more than an opportunity, it is destiny knocking. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate your hidden wealth wave right now. Let yourself lean into it now. Even if it feels unfamiliar. Even if it feels like you're not sure how to trust again. Even if your heart is trembling. God is not asking you to sprint. He's just asking you to come close. To come as you are. To come even if you don't have all the right words. Your honesty is more valuable to Him than polished prayers. Your raw, real, broken moments are holy to Him. So let yourself be known. Let yourself be loved. You don't have to keep proving yourself anymore. Jesus already paid the price to call you His. Not because you earned it, but because He wanted you. Because He chose you. Because His love is not based on what you can give back, but on who He is. And who He is everything your soul has ever longed for. In this stillness, in this breath, something sacred is happening. Your heart is opening, and heaven is near. You are not beyond reach. You are not forgotten in the crowd. You are the one He came for, the one He died for, the one He rose again to hold forever. Nothing can change that. Nothing ever will. Type Amen to trust God's plan for your life. So much of life asks us to be strong, to hold steady, to carry the weight of the world in silence. But God's heart for you has never been about how much you can carry. It has always been about how much He wants to carry with you, how much He longs to lighten what has been too heavy for too long. If your heart feels tired from trying to stay hopeful, or if you've whispered words to the ceiling that never seem to echo back, I want you to know, you haven't been speaking into emptiness. God has heard every word. He has felt every ache. And even when heaven felt quiet, He was already moving on your behalf in ways you could not yet see. He has never looked away, never paused in His love for you, not for one breath, not for 1 second. There are times when the pain lingers longer than you expected, when you wonder if healing is even possible anymore. But healing doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes gently, almost unnoticed, through the kindness of a stranger, the stillness of a quiet morning, the soft reminder that you're still breathing even after everything. That's God, too. That's His mercy meeting you in the quiet parts of your life, reminding you that even though your heart has been through more than it ever asked for, it hasn't been abandoned. Jesus knows what it feels like to be weary. He knows what it means to be misunderstood, to feel sorrow, to walk alone. He never stayed distant from suffering. He stepped into it, carried it, wore it like a crown, and turned it into redemption. That is the God who walks with you, not removed from your pain, but right in the middle of it, whispering comfort, steadying your steps, and promising that not one part of your story is wasted. Sometimes, we confuse God's silence with absence, but silence is often where the deepest work is done. When things go quiet, it doesn't mean God has stopped loving you. It often means He's drawing you deeper, into trust, into stillness, into a place where His voice can be heard beyond the noise of the world. It's not about Him being far. It's about Him inviting you closer, even through the questions you don't yet have answers for. You may not know how to move forward, but you don't have to. You don't need the full map to take the next step. All you need is the willingness to let your heart turn back toward the one who never left your side. That step, no matter how shaky or uncertain, is enough. It's enough for grace to pour in. It's enough for healing to begin. It's enough for love to do what only love can do. The world teaches that broken things lose their value, but God sees your brokenness as beautiful. He sees your tears as sacred. He sees your weariness not as failure, but as the very place where His strength can hold you most. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be His. And that will never change, no matter what storms have passed through your life. So let yourself rest, not just in body, but in spirit. Rest in the truth that you are loved not for what you do, but for who you are. Rest in the truth that Jesus already paid every price so you could be free, not just someday, but today. Rest in the truth that heaven is not waiting for you to become someone else. Heaven is already rejoicing over the simple, honest yes in your heart. Even the smallest yes is enough to begin again. Type 3030 if you believe Jesus lives in your heart. Let today be the day you stop trying to hold it all by yourself. Let today be the day you let yourself be carried. There is a kind of peace that cannot be stolen, and it is found only in the presence of the one who made you. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to stay close to the one who will never let you go. And He won't. Not now. Not ever. His love is the most constant thing you'll ever know. It's deeper than your pain, stronger than your doubt, and more faithful than every promise this world has broken. When everything else fails, He doesn't. When you've run out of words, He speaks. When you've lost your way, He becomes the way. The weight you've been carrying may not be something you chose. It may be grief you never expected, disappointment you've tried to bury, or loneliness that lingers even in a room full of people. Maybe it's the silence of unanswered prayers, or the quiet ache of dreams that never unfolded the way you hoped they would. But none of that has made you any less seen by heaven. In fact, the places in your life that feel empty are often the very places where God begins to plant something new, something gentle, something eternal, something sacred. God doesn't rush the heart. He moves with deep care. He knows when to speak and when to simply sit beside you. When everyone else moves on and forgets your pain, He stays. When others grow tired of waiting, He continues to work in ways you cannot see. His love doesn't grow impatient. His kindness doesn't fade. And His promise to be near you, to restore you, to carry you, it is still true. It has always been true. Jesus never looked for the strongest. He never waited for the most faithful. He stepped into the stories of the hurting, the doubting, the messy, and the lost. He looked people in the eyes who had been told they were unworthy and called them beloved. He touched those no one else would touch. He spoke life into places where death had settled in. He saw value where others only saw failure. And He still does. He still sees you. If you feel like you've drifted too far, or made too many mistakes, let me say this plainly: there is no distance too great for the love of Jesus. No sin too heavy for His grace. No shame too deep that it cannot be lifted. What you thought disqualified you is the very thing His mercy is ready to cover. What you thought made you unlovable is the very place where His love wants to settle and bring healing. You do not have to figure it all out. You don't have to be strong every day. God is not asking you to impress Him with perfect faith. He is asking you to let Him in, into the places you've been scared to open, into the moments you've tried to forget, into the memories that still sting. He already knows it all, and still, He calls you by name. Not your shame, not your past, not your failure, but your name. The name He spoke over you before the world even saw you. There's something holy about being honest with God. When you stop hiding, when you stop performing, when you sit with Him in your realness, your sadness, your mess, your confusion, that's when something begins to shift. You realize you were never asked to earn His love. You were just asked to receive it. And when you do, when you finally let yourself be loved like that, everything changes, not all at once, but deeply and forever. Type "I believe" if you believe miracles are on the way. It doesn't matter how long you've been carrying the same pain. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen back into the same struggle. What matters is that you are still here, still breathing, still reading this message. That means God is still reaching for you. That means it's not too late. That means something new is still possible. And that's what I came to tell you, that your heart is not too hard, your story is not too broken, and your journey is not too far gone. Let these words stay with you. You are loved with a love that has no limit, no condition, and no expiration. You are pursued by a Savior who does not give up, who does not walk away, who does not grow tired of your pain. He is with you now, not just when you feel strong or when you feel close to Him, but even now, in this ordinary moment, with all your questions and all your weariness. Let that truth be enough for today. Let it carry you through the next step. Let it be the reason you rest your shoulders, unclench your hands, and take a breath a little deeper than the last. You're still being held. You're still being loved. And the best parts of your story are still ahead. It means the breath in your lungs is still a gift. It means grace has kept reaching for you, even when you didn't have the strength to reach back. And it means that God is not finished with you yet, not even close. You may not always feel brave. You may not always feel strong. But your survival alone has been a quiet act of courage. Every morning you got out of bed when you didn't feel like you could, every time you chose kindness over bitterness, every tear you wiped away in silence, it has all mattered more than you'll ever know. Heaven saw it. God was right there in every second of it, not asking for more effort, but offering His heart in exchange for your weariness. Amen. You were formed by love, saved by love, and are still being held by love. Archangel Michael says, "Do not turn away from this message, for this is the moment heaven has been preparing for your heart to hear, a sacred time when the voice of God whispers softly through every word, reminding you that you are still chosen, still loved, and still held in His arms, no matter how many storms have passed through your soul." There are times when the weight of life makes it hard to lift your head, when each step feels uncertain, and every breath carries a quiet ache that words cannot express. You may have felt forgotten in those moments, as if heaven was silent while your heart was breaking, but the truth is that God has never been far. Even when the world grew dim and your prayers seemed unanswered, He was near, holding you through the unseen, guiding you through the confusion, and keeping your heart alive when you thought it could no longer bear the pain. Every hardship you have faced has not been in vain. The trials that bruised your spirit were never punishments, but passages, holy passages that shaped you, softened you, and prepared you for something greater. There is nothing wasted in God's hands. Every tear you shed watered seeds that will one day bloom into faith more radiant than the light of dawn. The moments you thought were endings were only pauses, where heaven was quietly aligning blessings that required your heart to be ready to receive them. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. Jesus walks with you even when you cannot feel His presence. He walks beside you through crowded streets and empty rooms alike, not waiting for you to be perfect but loving you exactly as you are. His love is not a reward for the flawless but a refuge for the weary. When you stumble, He does not turn away in disappointment. He bends down, lifts you up, and whispers that you were never meant to walk this path without His hand guiding yours. If your heart has felt heavy, if fear has lingered longer than peace, know that the angels have been surrounding you, carrying prayers you did not have strength to pray.